Okay, so we're rolling again here. I've had to set the cartel resources. Actually, should be on the 7 spot. We rallied in 3 different areas, placed some shipments, and you'll see why we did that here when we get into the propaganda phase. We're not quite done with Tres Esquinas because the FARC may do something now. And this is going to be super, super nice for the FARC because they're going to have an opportunity now to make a move before a propaganda phase. So they're going to execute a march once again. And this time, what they're going to try to do is slip in the back door here. One of the things that's going to happen at the end of a propaganda phase is all active guerrillas are going to go inactive to their underground side. So this may be an opportunity to get into some cities and really create headache. The other thing that's going to happen is all factions are going to go eligible for the card after the propaganda round. There's a chance that FARC will be able to make a move before the government. And if they do, they could really, really hurt them here. So on the one hand, FARC really isn't in a position to win just now. I'm trying to see if they could win. Basically, right now they're sitting at 24 opposition plus bases. They have opposition of 18, and then they have 6 bases on the map. So they need to get up to 1, 2 more in order to be in a winning position. But here's the problem. If they had 1 more guerrilla here, they could rally and put a base, and then they could rally and put a base here in Huila. That would give them the 2, and they could win the game. The problem is they don't have enough to do that. Furthermore, they're only given a limited operation here. So again, it was their misfortune that they weren't able to snag a win right at this point. But what they're going to do is take a limited operation, which means they can only move into one area, one target area. And the area that they're going to move into is, let's go for the jugular here. We're going to send 2 of these guys into. Wow, I wish I could send them into more than one spot, but let's go ahead and send these guys into. Let's do a big one because it has to be one target area. I could actually send these 2 here into Bogota, and I could send this guy from Meta West into Bogota. And you know what that's going to do? That's going to give the FARC control of Bogota. Not to mention all the other nastiness that they can do to him there. And just for grins, we'll throw in a 3rd one here. We're going to leave him on the lock because he's going to sabotage that lock. And we're going to leave all these other ones on the locks too, because we could really, really hurt the government here after this propaganda phase. So this is going to work out really well for FARC. This is very unfortunate for the government that this worked out this way because they're going to be very vulnerable after this. So that's going to cost 1 resource, and FARC is going to be thanking his lucky stars, his lucky yellow and red star, that he's got as many resources as he does, because he's going to be able to put the serious hurt on the other factions. So that ends Tres Esquinas, and now we go to a propaganda phase. Oh, wow. And after the propaganda phase, FARC is going to have first play, and they are going to be in a huge, huge advantageous situation. Okay, so here's how a propaganda card works. There are 4 of these that will come up at semi-regular intervals. When the 4th card is pulled, the game ends. First thing you do is you check to see if anyone has won an auto victory. Well, FARC is actually only 2 away from winning an auto victory. They are in the lead right now, with the government being 5 away. The AUC has 2 bases, 2 FARCs, 6. So they're actually in 2nd place. AUC is in 2nd place, government's in 3rd place, and cartels are so far behind it's not even funny. So here's what's going to happen. Nobody wins, so we move on to control. During control, whoever has, this is only relevant for the government and FARC. So if FARC has more pieces in an area, they have control of that space. If government has more pieces in an area than any other faction, they have control. So Santa Marta, government control. Nobody controls Cartagena. There's no pieces there. Okay, government has 1 piece here, but so does the cartel. So the government technically does not control Sincelejo. Government does control here. Government does not control Bogota, and that's going to be bad. They do not control Santander. They do control Naiva and Cali. Not Pasto. They do have Ibagué under their control. And that's it. FARC has control of Guaviare. So they have control there. They do have control of Meta West. They have 2 pieces to the cartel's 1. Meta East. Arauca. Nope, they don't have control there. What am I doing? 2 to 2. Chocó. And last but not least, the big one. This is going to hurt. They have control of Bogota. While the government's out patrolling the locks aggressively, they have infiltrated the cities. The city, I should say. So let's see how this works out. So control has been established. Now we sabotage every lock where the number of guerrillas exceed cubes. So let's sabotage here. Sabotage here. I think that's it. Just the 2 locks got sabotaged. So not terrible loss there for the government. It's only 2 resources they lose there. Next, resources. Government collects 30 resources less sabotage locks. So they get 28. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to be at 53. Okay. Next, the AUC collects 1 for each base, so they get 2. FARC doesn't get any during a resource phase. They are relying on kidnapping and extortion to gain their resources and events. Cartels are going to get 3 for every base. Unfortunately for them, they only have 3 bases on the map. That's 9 resources. So that's going to get them up to 16. That's very unfortunate for them. But here's why I built those shipments. Shipments can then be turned in at this time to establish either a base or 6 resources. So I'm going to turn those in. That gives them 12 resources. So I'll put them up to 28. That definitely will help them out a bit. Yeah, so we'll return these back to their holding spot. Okay. So those are the resources. Next, support. Government can conduct civic actions only in spaces where they have control. So the spaces where they have control, they don't need to do civic actions. So they're going to pass. But here's the big one. The FARC is going to be able to do a civic action, or going to be able to do the opposite of civic action, which is agitation. They're going to be able to agitate in areas under their control. In this case, Bogota. Now it costs them 1 resource to shift one level in their favor. So they're going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4 resources. And that's going to have a huge swing on the game. So they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and now the government support is down to 40. That was big. Government support falls down to 40. Opposition is at 34 plus 6 bases. Wow. FARC opposition plus bases is up to 40. If they can hold on to Bogota, they will win the game. But they need to hold on to it until the next propaganda phase, because victory is only checked at the beginning of a prop card phase. So it's one thing to take it, it's another thing to hold it. All right, next, election. If government support is less than 60, then what we do is we advance the Presidente marker. So now, I want to say it's Pastrana is the Presidente, and he's going to place a FARC zone marker. What he does is he has to place this in an area, in a space that has the most FARC pieces. And it's going to have to be Guaviare. And I'm pretty sure it's department. I'll have to double check. I'm pretty sure it's department, because I don't think you can make a FARC zone in a city. I'm pretty sure it has to be a department. So it is going to be Guaviare. If there's more than one space, then the government decides which one it goes in. What that means is the government cannot touch FARC in this area. This is a FARC safe haven. This president is basically trying a more peaceful approach to negotiate with the FARC faction. So that ends the election phase, or support phase, so with the election. So now we go to redeploy. All troops on locks and in departments without bases must move into a city that under their control, so or into a space, a city or department that is under their control. So basically, this guy here, he's going to have to go into. Let's put him in here. All these guys, I'm going to need a big force together, so I'm going to put them all together in there. Is there any other troops unlocked? Yeah, this one here is going to have to go into Bucaramanga. Well, yeah, Bucaramanga. I think those are the only troops unlocked. So, one more. He'll go into Cali. Okay. I can then redistribute my police. I can rearrange them onto any cities or locks or departments with bases. Wow. I need to double check that because I'm always kind of missing that. I want to make sure I get that rule right. I don't have the play aid right in front of me, so I'm going to double check in the rule real quick to make sure I have that right. The government troops must move into areas that have government control. So government must move troops on locks or in departments without bases to government-controlled spaces that are either cities or have government bases. If no such spaces, then to Bogota. So you can always move them into Bogota. And that, well, no, you can only move them to Bogota if there was no other option. So I will have to keep those guys there. All right, the government may move any police to any locks or government-controlled spaces. So the police may move on to locks or government-controlled spaces. Tell you what, I want to keep this lock. I want to keep that lock real free if at all possible. Wow. I think I'm just going to leave my police where they are. I don't have a lot to spread around, and the ones I have out are kind of where I want them to be, except maybe this one and this one. So I'm going to move that one there, and this one to here. All right, we'll try this. Okay, so we have redeployed. Now we reset. All control, terror, sabotage markers all go away, and all guerrillas flip to underground. So that's how you get rid of terror markers, aside from paying resources to remove them during a civic action or agitation. So that ends the first propaganda round, and the situation right now is looking pretty good for FARC because they're going to have opening play here, and you know what that means. They will be able to sabotage every single lock where they exceed the number of police. In fact, now that I think about that, I better put a policeman there. Let's go back to that redeploy phase. They can only sabotage the locks where they exceed police. So let's think about this a little bit more carefully, I think. Maybe take this one up from up here and put him on that lock. That'll at least kind of mitigate against what's going to happen. That leaves only a couple locks that they can sabotage. I could kind of block that one there. And I can take this guy out and put him here. I think that covers all my locks. Protects them. Okay, from the opening play for FARC. Nevertheless, they'll still be able to terrorize in Santander. They're in a pretty strong position right out of the gate. So what we'll do is we're going to stop the video here, and we will pick it up next time and continue the game from there.